Alright, I was asked on Twitter what are my thoughts on Antonio Brown right when he got released, and I told them I would respond on Monday. Now, a ton of things have happened. Antonio Brown signed with the New England Patriots. He also exposed the fact that he asked a ton of different social media experts different ways that he can get himself released out of his contract, thus showing his entire antics was all a power move in order to get out of the contract so he could be a free agent and go to whatever team, gives him a phone call, and ultimately that being the New England Patriots. But I only have one issue with Antonio Brown. Only one. Because when it comes to bucking the system and, going against organizations, I understand the player perspective. Because organizations, they go behind players' backs all the time. You get traded in the middle of the game. You get traded when they just told you you're going to be a lifer on this team. You get traded or released when you worked your butt off to get to this point. You could go through injury after injury after injury, and you smile in these people's faces. They smile in your face. They come over to your house. They meet your family only to cut you when you can't do nothing for them. So I understand when players want to get a leg up and get, pull the wool over the eyes over organizations. So what he did to Pittsburgh, what he did to Oakland, I understand. However, his matter of how he did it is what my problem is. Because anybody who's played football, anybody who's played any form of organized sport, hell, even been a part of a team, whether that's professional inside of a business or wherever it is that you're part of a team, you understand there's a camaraderie that exists there. A brotherhood, a sisterhood, of warriors going out to go to war. All right? Because anybody who's been in any sort of locker room, whether it been Pop Warner, high school, college, or professional, you understand that you're putting your life on the line when you put on that helmet and those pads. Because you've seen people get paralyzed. You've seen people die on the football field. If you haven't, feel free to use a Google search. The internet works. You can brief yourself on what's transpired on the gridiron. And what Antonio Brown did was go against every single cardinal rule of camaraderie in football. Why is that? Okay, let's just take a little rewind back to his ESPN interview, right? He cited one of his biggest issues with Ben Roethlisberger was the fact that they weren't truly friends. Big Ben never came to his house. He's never been to Big Ben's house. All right, cool, no problem. What was the first thing that transpired after Antonio Brown signed with the Oakland Raiders? Derek Carr invited this man to his house. What does that mean? Derek Carr saw what transpired on the ESPN interview. He saw that Antonio Brown had an issue with Ben Roethlisberger because he was not invited to the house. He also did not invite Big Ben to the house, although communication is a two-way street and friendship is a two-way street. Both of them unilaterally evidently did not decide, hey, let's be friends. So Derek Carr extended the olive branch, brought Antonio Brown into his house, invited him over, introduced him to his wife, had his children play with Antonio Brown and also with Antonio Brown's children. They had it on ESPN, Derek Carr's son throwing a touchdown pass to Antonio Brown's son. So Derek Carr made sure that he brought you in as a brother and welcomed you into his house, into his family. What did the Oakland Raiders do? They brought you in and gave you everything you ever wanted. And what did you do? Not only did you do everything that you possibly could to make sure you would not be on the field and to get out of your contract, but you stabbed every single one of them in the back. Why is that? Because although that you went through the helmet ordeal, your feet ordeal, the contract ordeal, all that other stuff, those guys in the locker room stood by you. Those guys in the front office stood by you. They went to bat for you. When everybody was calling you Antonio Clown, when everybody was throwing bricks on your name and calling you crazy and out of your mind, those guys had your back. And to make matters worse, you stood in front of them in a meeting, emotional delivery of your speech of apology and how you're ready to go to war with them. And they forgave you, only to have you turn your back on them once again. And then the video of you getting released, you're happy, you're jumping for joy, you've been released, the plan came together. Here's what my issue was. Professionally, against the organization, I may not have liked the methods, but I understand. But from an individualistic perspective, there are still humans that are football players. And those people who brought you in only to be betrayed like that. Antonio may go out and go get a Super Bowl ring, probably mess around and get multiple, because he's going to an organization that does not necessarily need him. More importantly, when he said they was going to have teams play by his rules, the NFL is going to play by his rules, you're going to somewhere where there is no your rule. It's only their rules. And watch how quick He assimilates into the Patriot way because his ultimate goal was not money. His ultimate goal was not chasing Jerry Rice. His ultimate goal was not the accolades. It was only a Super Bowl trophy. That's what he was trying to get. But at what cost? Your respect, your reputation. Anybody who has a conversation with this man, is it genuine? You can't trust him because he sacrificed it all in order to get to the Patriots to possibly win a championship. What is the price of your integrity? Thanos once said, the toughest choices require the strongest wills. This was all a small sacrifice for salvation. Hopefully it pays out for him, at least in his perspective. But the way I see it is, it may have been a magnificent power move, master plan, from the T, from start to finish. However, after it's all over, after Fat Lady has started warming up her pipes and finished her solo, when the dust has cleared, when the clock hits 000 on your career, what do you have left? Because you're going to ask yourself, was it all worth it? That's all I got to say about it. Personally, AB is selfish. He's a prick. He's an asshole. But he pulled one over. Ask yourself, if you were in his position, would you do it the way that he did it? Or if you were his teammate, how would you feel about it? Former or future? Regardless of how good he is on the field, who he is as a person, do you feel like it was all worth it? Give me your thoughts.